The moon is dark and very quiet. The stars look sharp like small nails in a black wall. Dr. Asha Khan stands on the ridge of a deep crater. Her boots press into thin dust. Her visor glass shows a faint grid of light far below, under the surface like a city covered by sand. She blinks. The lights go out. The grid dies as if it is shy. For a moment she thinks it was nothing. Then her heart says it was real. She is not alone. Commander Ruiz waits 2 steps behind her, steady and calm. He watches the seismograph on his wrist screen. It shows a slow beat. 1 pulse, pause, 2 pulses, pause, repeat. Nora, the ship's AI, plays the sound in her headset. It is not wind. It is not a tool. It is not a radio echo. It is a pattern. It feels like someone is knocking from inside the moon. Asha speaks in a level voice. Pattern is regular. She keeps her words short. She likes simple facts. Ruiz nods once. We follow the source. He points toward the low slope that sinks into shadow. His lamp cuts a thin line across the dust. The light seems to get swallowed by the dark. They step down together. The surface changes under their boots. At first the ground is soft powder, then it turns smooth and hard. Asha kneels and brushes away dust with her glove. The floor below is black stone polished like glass. It is carved into perfect hexagons, each the same size, each set with care. No crater makes shapes like this. This is not nature. This is a plan. Nora speaks in the team channel. Temperature drop ahead. Pockets of extreme cold. Warning, metal may become brittle. Ruiz answers, noted. His breath fogs the inside of his visor. He slows the pace. They place small beacons behind them, one by one, like crumbs for a path home. The pulse grows louder in their ears. 1 beat, pause, 2 beats. Asha times the sound. It matches a calm human heart. It is like the moon is breathing in sleep. The idea makes her spine feel tight. She tries not to think about lungs under rock. They reach the lip of Shackleton Crater. The darkness there is not normal. It is thick and heavy, as if light itself is tired. Their lamps throw long white blades that fade fast. The walls around them eat the glow. Asha's camera catches something that moves where there is no wind. A shadow slides across a wall, then stops when the lamps touch it. She tells herself it is her hand shaking. She does not believe her own voice. They go deeper. The slope becomes a ramp. Dust thins out. The black hexagons stretch on, like a road made by someone who loved order more than sleep. There are lines cut into the stone. No words, only angles and arcs. Asha thinks they look like navigation shapes, circles for orbits, lines for paths. She takes a photo. Her suit tags it with time and location. They pause. Ruiz checks the life support readout. All green. He looks at Asha through his visor. She looks back. No one says we should go home. They know this is why they came, to step where no one has stepped, to find what no one has seen. Asha lays a small microphone on the floor. It is a flat coin tool. It listens to vibrations better than human ears. On her wrist, the trace lines start to move. The pulse grows clear. Then another sound rises under it. It is slow. It is deep. It is like the sound you hear when you put your ear to a huge shell at the sea. Asha says, very soft. Breathing. Nora agrees. Subsurface oscillation at low frequency. Organic? Unknown. The ramp ends in a wall of pure night. At first it looks like a dead end. But the wall is not stone. It is smooth and very thin. Asha brushes dust away in a small circle. A hairline seam appears. It curves in a neat oval. The seam looks like a door cut by a blade of light. Permission, Asha says to Ruiz. He gives a short nod. She touches the seam with one finger. The wall opens without a sound. There is no hinge. The stone parts like calm water. Air breathes out. It is cold but not deadly. Suit sensors say it is thin but real, and it smells like dry minerals. The lamps show a narrow hall ahead, as black as the outside stone but not dusty. This place has no dust because this place is used. Asha and Ruiz step in. The floor gives off a faint warmth. The pulse stops. The silence is sudden and full. For 3 seconds they hear only their own blood in their ears. The walls reflect their lights back with a slight strange delay, like the stone is thinking before it answers. Nora breaks the quiet. Recording on all channels. Her voice is steady and low. Asha raises her hand and turns her lamp down. In this place, bright light feels rude. The glow becomes soft. The hall accepts it. They reach a wide chamber. The ceiling curves like the inside of a dome. The walls shine with hidden patterns. When Asha takes a step, lines appear on the floor, thin and pale, copying her path. Then she notices something else. The lines not only mirror the last step, they draw the next step before she takes it. The chamber is watching them. It is guessing them. Ruiz keeps his voice calm. Stay on my left. He moves slow. He touches nothing with his bare glove. He shows respect, like when you enter a place of worship you do not know. The chamber answers with a soft hum. The tone is warm, almost kind. Asha feels fear and wonder together. Fear of what they cannot see, wonder at what they have found. She thinks of the grid of light under the dust. She thinks of the hexagon road. She thinks of the breath under the stone. She thinks, someone built this. Someone still cares for this. They did not leave chaos. They left order. They left rules. They left a welcome, or a test. Her radio clicks once. A tiny sound like a fingernail on glass. Then a whisper rises, so faint she first thinks it is her own mind talking. It is not. The whisper is in a human voice. The accent is not clear. The tone is not sharp. It is soft and careful, like a teacher who wants a child to learn without fear. It says one word, welcome. The word is thin but true. It echoes in the chamber and then fades. Asha looks at Ruiz. He looks at her. This is not an echo from Earth. This is not a trick of radio. This is speech in a place that has been silent for ages. It knows they are here. It speaks their language, or it learned fast. Nora records the waveform. She tries to parse it, to see if it is a mix, a pieced clip. She cannot prove it is a splice. It tests as a new voice, a present voice. The chamber grows a little warmer. The floor lights form a gentle path toward another arch that was not visible a moment ago. It blooms out of the dark like a mouth opening. Asha feels the old brave pull that brought her to space. She takes one step. Ruiz lifts a hand. Wait. He checks the path with a sensor probe. The probe returns clean. The path is safe. They are 2 breaths from crossing the arch when all lamps flicker once, like a blink. The stars outside blink too, on the visor feed. The grid of lights under the dust flares in her mind as if it remembers her. The chamber hum turns to a steady tone. It matches Asha's pulse. She knows the next steps will change everything. She knows the dark side of the moon is not empty. She knows the city is awake. The whisper comes again, closer this time, as if the speaker stands just beyond the arch. Welcome, it says. Come. The door closes behind them like a quiet breath. The chamber waits. The air is thin, cold, and clean, like a room that has not seen visitors for a long time. Dr. Asha Khan and Commander Ruiz stand still for 3 slow heartbeats. Their lamps are low. The walls shine back with a soft delay, as if the stone is thinking before it answers. The voice that said, welcome, does not speak again. But the floor begins to glow. A pale path appears, like moonlight caught in glass. It bends toward a dark arch on the far side of the dome. The path looks gentle, but it feels like a test. It feels like someone wants to see if humans will follow a line into deeper night. Ruiz makes a small sign with his hand. Careful. He sends a probe ahead. The probe rolls over the light. No spike, no gas, no drop. Safe enough. Asha nods. She steps onto the path. The room reacts. Thin lines wake inside the walls, like veins filling with light. Shapes rise and fade, circles, triangles, spirals. The spirals repeat in ratios that make Asha's math brain sit up. This is design, not decoration. This is a language that trusts numbers more than words. They pass under the arch. Beyond it, the city begins. At first they see only a long hall with tall ribs like the inside of a whale. Then their eyes adjust, and the hall becomes a street. On both sides, black towers grow out of the floor like frozen trees. The towers are not rough. They are smooth and cut with care, every edge true. Between the towers hang thin bridges, so thin they should fall, but they do not. These bridges are made of shadow hardened by rule. Asha lifts her lamp to a tower face. The light slides over it. Symbols bloom and fade like breath on glass. The symbols are not letters. They are motions. They show paths, flows, and times. Asha whispers, navigation. Ruiz says nothing. He is counting exits and cover and distance back to the door. He is a soldier in a temple. The voice comes again, but not through the air. It rises from the floor, from the path itself, like heat. Do not fear light, it says in simple rhythm. Fear the wrong light. The words stop. The path brightens one shade. Far ahead, something moves on a bridge. Asha freezes. The thing is thin and tall, almost not there. It pulls back from her lamp like a moth afraid of flame. It hides behind a pillar, and in hiding it becomes nearly perfect black. a hole in the world. Asha lowers her light. The figure leans forward, curious. Another shape joins it, 2, then 3. They are not rushing. They are not charging. They are watching with great care, like hunters who do not wish to spook a small wild animal. The small animal is the humans. Ruiz spreads his hands, palms out. He speaks very slow. We come in peace. He feels foolish saying the old line, but sometimes old lines are tools. He keeps his lamp low, like Asha. He does not point the beam at eyes. He knows how it feels when someone shines power straight into your face. The figures step onto the bridge. They do not walk like humans. They flow, as if their joints bend on new angles. Their skin is not skin. It is something like graphite and silk. It drinks light and gives back a soft eclipse glow at the edges. Where their eyes should be, the darkness is deeper, but inside that dark, Asha senses pattern, not emptiness. They stop 10 meters away, on the far side of a thin trench of shadow. The floor between them wakes with a hum. A grid appears, 10 by 10 squares. In the first square, a dot blinks once. In the second square, it blinks twice. Then the grid resets and the pattern repeats. 1, pause, 2. The moon's heartbeat. The city is saying, "We saw you hear us." Asha kneels and draws with her glove finger on the dust-thin layer over the light. She draws a prime series, 2, 3, 5, 7, just dots in groups. The figures watch. Then the grid answers, 11 dots in a group, then 13. The city is saying, "We count 2. Nora's voice is soft in their helmets. "We have a bridge. Keep it simple." Asha nods and points up. The figures follow her hand. Through a narrow slit in the roof, a slice of sky glows ink blue. Earth would be there if this were the near side. But this is the dark side, so the slit holds only stars. The figures lift their own hands, slow. They draw a shape in midair with a finger, no ink, only motion. The air where the finger moves remembers the line and keeps it glowing a little while. It is a circle with small dots around it. It is a solar system in child simple lines. Then one figure adds short bars across the circle like rings. Not one ring. Many rings nested tight. Asha frowns. Rings around Earth do not belong. Not natural. Not safe. The street trembles. It is not an attack. It is a sick house complaining. From somewhere below, a low roar rolls through stone. The light in the towers flickers. The bridges shake a little, like strings in a deep song. The figures draw back fast from the lamp. They press against the pillars, hands to the floor, as if feeling a heartbeat through bone. Nora. Power source fluctuation. Heat signature dropping. You are above a plant of some kind. Reactor, Asha says. The word tastes real in her mouth. Old failing. One of the figures looks at her. It touches the floor with 2 long fingers. The light under its hand brightens and travels in a line down the street like a fuse. Doors open one by one along the path, black mouths with warm breath. The figure points. The meaning is clear even without words. Come, Ruiz checks his timer. Oxygen is fine. Suits are sound. The way back is still known. He nods once. We go. Slow, no sudden moves. Asha follows the light like a diver follows a guide rope. The figures keep their distance but never vanish. They travel in shadow the way fish travel in water. They come to a great round chamber. It is not pretty. It is crowded and hot in a broken way, like a heart that has been pumping too long. In the middle stands a machine as tall as a house, dark metal wrapped in rings that shimmer with old power. Heat fog dances around it thin as spider thread. The machine hums in steps too slow for a living body. The steps are missing. The beat is weak. Asha walks close. Instruments on her wrist jump. Nora feeds her numbers, temperature valleys, pressure dips, field decay. The story is simple. This core is dying. If it dies, the city will fall quiet forever, and the tunnels could crack and close like a fist. Traps of stone, no air. No path out, Ruiz swears under his breath. The figures draw near the machine's base, but stop where the light on the floor ends. They cannot cross the bright. Their skin tightens at the edges. They do not like heat. They do not like direct light. They are people of night by need, not by choice. Asha circles the core. On one side, a panel waits, smooth as a black mirror. Her reflection looks back one heartbeat late. She raises a hand. The panel wakes. A soft ring of light opens like an iris. A small plate slides out, the size of a palm, silver thin, almost not there. Don't! Ruiz starts. The plate jumps and slides under Asha's hand before she can pull back. A sting of cold shoots through her glove to the skin. Her suit chirps. The panel drinks a tiny bit of her heat. Her name flashes on her wrist, unasked, Asha. Then the panel shows a curve of symbols in a neat arc. They are not letters, but Asha understands the mood. Accept. The machine has chosen her. Nora's voice is not calm now. Biometric lock formed. Unknown mechanism. It is keyed to your pattern. I cannot simulate it. The floor brightens around the core, drawing a diagram in living light. It shows a path from the human's lander to a socket in the machine. A tower symbol lights on the lander sketch. Asha knows that tower, the aux power core. If they pull it, they cannot fly home at once. If they do not, this heart will stop. Ruiz looks at the diagram. He looks at Asha. The choice is heavy but clean. He speaks like a man who knows he will carry the weight either way. If we give, we stay. If we don't, they die. Asha does not look away from the panel. She feels the city's hum matching her pulse, step by step, like it is learning her rhythm and building a song around it. She thinks of the rings around Earth drawn by the shadow finger. She thinks of fear the wrong light. She thinks of a swarm that might use bright day to hide crimes. We stay, she says. The nearest figure bows, yes, bows, with a grace so precise it feels like music. The bridges above answer with a faint tone, like strings tuned to a new key. The city has heard the human yes. Nora scrolls power routes. I can guide a jump start if we dock the aux core. Risk of overload is high. Cooling paths unknown. Asha presses her hand to the panel again. The machine does not sting this time. It warms under her palm like a living thing, glad to feel another living thing. Lines bloom into a clean work plan. Where to feed, where to bleed heat, where to vent if the heart runs too hard. The path back to the lander lights up under their feet all the way to the first door. A silver thread through black halls. Move, Ruiz says. His voice is quiet and strong. We bring life to the night. Behind them, the great machine gives one long, low breath, as if it is listening for their return. The floor dims to save strength. The figures fade into the ribs and pillars, keeping pace in shadow. The city holds its own breath. At the threshold of the arch, Asha hears the voice one more time. It is closer now, and it is not a recording. It is a presence. Human, it says. Key. Then the lights go out for one full heartbeat. Total black. Silence so deep it has shape. When the glow comes back, a new line burns on the floor. Thinner. Urgent. The city has started counting down. The floor line burns like a thin comet under their boots. The city is counting down. Dr. Asha Khan and Commander Ruiz move fast through black halls that reflect light a little late, like slow mirrors. Behind them, the reactor gives a weak, tired hum. Ahead, the door to the moon's night opens like the mouth of a tunnel snake. The air is thin and cold and clean. No one speaks for 20 heartbeats. Then Ruiz says one word. Focus. They follow the silver thread back to the surface door. The door opens without sound, like water splitting for a blade, and lunar night greets them, hard, dry, endless. Their lamps throw short, pale cones that the darkness eats. The lander waits on the ridge, a small bright house in a town made of void. Nora fills their ears. Core status stable. Dock clamps ready. Warning. Removal will drop ship systems to bone. No fast escape after. Copy, Ruiz says. He does not slow. He does not look up at the star field. He knows what is at his back, a city with its heart in a grip. Asha climbs the lander ladder, hands steady, breath slow. She is calm like a surgeon who has been in cold rooms before. In her chest, the beat is strong and even. The machine below has matched her rhythm. She feels it like a second pulse, a low drum at her feet. Inside the lander, lights blink in neat lines. Asha opens the service bay. The aux core sits there like a sleeping seed, a dense coil wrapped in care, built to wake only when called. She studies cables, ports, and locks. No hesitation. She knows the map the city gave. She knows where this seed must plant. Ruiz stands guard outside, watching the ridge, the sky, the open dark. In his visor, a tiny star blinks twice, stops, then blinks 3 times. Morse? No. He shakes his head. The eye plays tricks when the heart runs high. Nora, confirm lock release, Asha says. Release confirmed, the AI answers. Prepare for manual lift. Asha braces and pulls. The core is not heavy in moon gravity, but it is dense. It fights in small ways, not in big ones. It wants to stay home. She sets it on a sled built for cargo and secures it with tight straps. She pushes it out to Ruiz. He catches the sled rope like a fisherman on old Earth, and they lower the core to the dust. Path is lit, Asha says. The silver line from the city door glows a shade brighter, as if happy to see the seed. They move. 2 humans, 1 core, 1 thin line between worlds. The dark around them is not empty. It is full of cold and long time. Their boots mark the black hexagon road. Their breath is a soft mist on glass. Asha does not think about fear. She thinks about steps. She thinks about heat flows, vent paths, and coil winding. She thinks about the way metal learns to sing when you treat it like it can. The city door opens for them. The counting line brightens. The halls feel warmer than before, but the warmth is fragile, like a candle in a cave with slow wind. The figures of shadow keep pace at a distance. They glide along the ribs and pillars, never touching the bright. At the reactor chamber, the machine stands like a giant that stayed awake for 1,000 nights. The air shivers. The hum falters, then holds. The counting line climbs the wall and becomes a circle clock with no numbers. A small mark sweeps along its rim. Time is thin. Asha kneels at the feed port the map showed. The panel wakes under her hand. It knows her now. It does not sting. It opens like a mouth that trusts the spoon. Nora, guide me, Asha says. Dock angle 3 degrees low, Nora replies. Rotate right, stop, insert. The aux core slides in. For a breath, nothing happens. Then a deep tone rolls through the chamber. The rings around the core light in slow steps like dawn climbing a mountain. Power flow rising, Nora says. Hold at 20%. 30, 40, warning. Thermal spike in secondary loop. Ruiz moves to the bleed valves mapped in the floor light. He spins one with a wrench. A thin hiss answers, then a stronger breath like the machine sighs. Heat runs through channels etched in the stone, up a shaft that reaches the sky. In Asha's mind, she sees the glow pierce the lunar night like a new lighthouse made of shadow and fire. The city wakes. The towers hum. The bridges sing a thin, bright chord. Patterns bloom on the walls, star maps, orbit lines, paths through deep black. The grid on the floor follows Asha's pulse for a few seconds, then smooths into a steady, large heartbeat, the reactor zone. Stability near threshold, Nora warns. We need a coil to smooth the surge. The old one is cracked. Asha runs her glove across the damaged supercoil. The break shows a jagged mouth of metal. She looks at her suit. She looks at Ruiz. Gold bus in the comm board, copper in my suit reserve, she says. We weave a patch. Ruiz does not argue. He unclips a panel from the lander sled, hands her wire. He holds the light low so it does not hurt the shadow people at the edge of bright. Asha works with slow hands. Slow hands make strong work. She braids gold and copper in tight turns like weaving hair. She breathes in, breathes out. The reactor mirrors her breath, as if taking strength from the rhythm. The first patch holds. The hum smooths. The temperature curve eases but is still wild at the top. She needs one more loop. She strips a thin ribbon from her own glove edge, a tough thread meant to resist microcuts, and she uses it as a binder. She sets the second coil, presses it home and locks it with a twist. The room listens. Silence. Then the hum deepens into a clean note that you feel in your bones. The clock line on the wall stops racing and settles into a slow turn. The tower's song softens to a warm chord. The bridges relax. The thin air inside the chamber tastes less of cold metal and more of dry stone under sun. Except there is no sun here, only law and heat and care. It holds, Nora says. Her voice is small and proud at once. Asha, it holds. The figures of shadow step closer to the edge of the bright path. They cannot cross, but they come near. One lifts a long hand to its chest, palm open, then lowers it. A bow, others follow. The chamber answers with a new line of light on the floor, a circle within a circle, 2 paths touching at one point. A meeting. Ruiz has not taken his eyes off the numbers. He lets out a breath he did not know he held. He allows himself one small smile. Then he points up. Look, the dome ceiling becomes a night sky screen. The city paints stars and clean points. Then it draws a blue-white circle. Earth. Around Earth, the rings appear again, many tight paths layered like threads. But now the rings move. They are not belts of rock. They are trails. They are approach lines. From deep space, a swarm is coming, and it uses light and side glare to hide in the shine of day. You do not see a thief if you stare into the lamp. You see after images and nothing else. The city draws the moon. It draws the dark side. It draws their own halls, tunnels, and ribs. It marks nodes that can sing, beacons that do not shine like light, but call like a heartbeat in radio night. Hide Earth in rhythm and shadow. Throw off seekers who hunt by glare, Asha understands. The voice returns, close and present, not a recording, not a trick. A teacher's tone, gentle and urgent, wrong light blinds. We mask your home, Ruiz nods. It is enough. A human debt is a simple thing when the lender is the night itself. We will help, he says. We can sing with you. They work fast. Nora shapes a beacon call in clean math, primes and simple pulses. Asha carves a message into a panel with a tooltip. Small and neat, where it will last, in night. We learn to see. She sets the frequency, locks the code, and opens the channel to Earth in a whisper band that hides just below noise. The city breathes. Far halls answer with low tones. The figures of shadow face the sky, slit and sway like reeds in water, a motion that looks like prayer but is probably physics. The beacons wake one by one in the map. Dark points begin to beat. Then the twist. Stars along the ridge blink in human Morse. Not random. Asha freezes and listens with her eyes. Short, long, a word, then another. Other craters are speaking from the night. Other doors have opened for other teams, or other cities have learned human code in the last minutes. Nora, Asha says. Confirmed, the AI answers. Multiple sources, pattern human standard. Message reads, we are not alone in the dark. Asha laughs once, small and bright. Not fear, relief, pride, HFY. Humans came to the night and did not break. They learned. They helped. They were chosen, and they chose back. The reactor room dims to a soft glow, a resting heart. The counting line is gone. The city is no longer counting down to loss. It is counting up from a new start. Ruiz tightens the last clamp on the coil patch. This will hold for now, he says. We will need a real coil later. We will build one. Asha answers. Simple, certain. Humans fix things. That is what they do. The voice speaks a final time, warm and near. Human, key, friend. Asha looks at the panel that knows her hand. She places her palm there one more time. The wall blooms with a pattern that looks like two pulses crossing and sinking. Her pulse, the city's pulse. A pact. They walk back toward the door, the silver thread soft under their boots. The figures move with them in the ribs and pillars like a guard and like a chorus. At the threshold, Asha turns and bows the way the figure bowed to her. It feels right. Outside, lunar night waits with its cold crown of stars. Somewhere out there, a swarm moves. Somewhere behind them, a heart that almost stopped now beats strong. Between the two, humans stand, small, stubborn, bright in the right way. They step out onto the hexagon road. Behind them, in the deep, the city whispers one last word. Asha cannot tell if she hears it with ears or bones, together.